Howdy again, everybody. Thought I'd shoot a little daylight episode. I just couldn't resist. Everything's looking so good here. It's so rare that I'm out here in the daylight. But starting with the front, like I've just to go over what I've done, sealed all the pipes off the front header, and then I had already sealed these valves, the relief valves, pressure relief valves earlier. But I've sealed all this with the high temperature RTV. It's the same stuff I used on the front header, all the pipe thread areas there. And I just a few minutes ago finished putting back together all the brass work here, the valve that the things that I hadn't shown recently anyway, the valve that goes for the relief valve for the water sight gauge, and then this is the little stem that I made for the American Engineering brass sight gauge. I'll come around and show that in a minute. It just looks so good all being back together. Really wasn't bad to take apart. Like I said, you want to use as many of these union type fittings as you possibly can. It makes it a heck of a lot easier. Probably could have used one more coming out of the whistle. There we go. But anyway, I was able to take it apart without much trouble. The other thing I did was I did a little test. Sorry about the erratic camera work there, but on this thing, that's a not homemade, but this is one of the PM Research valves, 5/16 inch angle valves that I made myself from a kit, and it was a lot of fun. I think that was probably around the same time when I started doing videos on the channel, several years ago actually. And what I did before I put it back on, I couldn't remember if I'd air tested it, so I did. I tested it individually and it was fine, so pretty pleased about that. But everything's back together. I used the leak seal stuff, the gray stuff around where the stuff that goes into the boiler. I actually used on the fine brass parts, I put a touch of Loctite 542 on them. So if you see a little red dot, that's the Loctite 542, and it's around. And all the rest of the gray stuff is what is this stuff called? Leak lock. Here we go. So there's the leak lock, there's the Loctite 542, and all the tools and stuff. I didn't need to use any of this, but this is some of that graphite thread, graphite impregnated yarn that you can buy this from McMaster Car, and I used it for the packing for the throttle, and since I was trying to address leaks, I went ahead and got it out so it would be handy. But let me show up here. This is kind of cool. This is kind of what it will look like driving, and the quick start valve for the water injector, quick start valve for the vacuum brake ejector here, and this is the blower valve here right above the throttle. And this valve here is one that I bought from Loco Parts. It looks different. It's a beautiful valve. This is another one of the PM Research ones that I made from the kit. And there we go, the throttle with the browned throttle arm on it, and everything is back together. I just finished putting it back together. I'll probably let it sit overnight and maybe do a leak test. Well, I'm not going to say tomorrow. I've got a road trip tomorrow, but sometime soon I'll fire up the compressor and do another air leak test. And once that's satisfactory, then we should be ready for a steam test. So once again, thanks for watching, everybody, and looking forward to getting it fired up.